There's your eldest sorrow, a pale young mourner, wearing a sister's likeness to first love, sadly beautiful, with a hollowed sweetness in her melancholy features, and grace in the flow of her stable robe. Next appears a shade of ruined loveliness, with dust among her golden hair, and her bright garments all faded and defaced, stealing from your glance with drooping head, and as fearful as reproach. She was your fondest hope, but a delusive one. So call her disappointment now. A sterner form succeeds, with a brood of wrinkles, a look of gesture of iron authority. There is no name for him unless it be fertility, an embryo of evil influences that rules your fortune, a demon to whom you subjected yourself by some error at the outset of life, and were bound his slave forever by once obeying him. See those fiendish lineaments graven on the darkness, the withered lip of scorn, the mockery of that living eye, the pointed finger touching the sore place in your heart. Do you remember any act of enormous folly at which you would blush even in the remotest cavern of the earth? Then recognize your shame. Pass, wretched band. Well, for the weakened one, if victoriously miserable, a fiercer tried, do not surround him. The devils of a guilty heart that holds its hell within itself. What if remorse should assume the features of an injured friend? What if the friend should come in woman's garments, with a pale beauty amid sin and desolation, and lie down by your side? What if he should stand at your bed's foot in the likeliness of a corpse, with a bloody stain upon the shroud? Sufficient without such guilt is this nightmare of the soul, this heavy sinking of the spirits, this wintry gloom about the heart, this indistant horror of the mind, blending itself with the darkness of the chamber. By a desperate effect you start upright, breaking from the sort of conscious sleep and gazing wildly round the bed, as if fiends were anywhere but, or not fiends were anywhere but in your haunted mind. At the same moment, the slumbering embers on the hearth sent forth a gleam which palely illuminates the whole outer room, and flickers through the door of the bedchamber, but cannot quite dispel its obscurity. Your eye searches for whatever may remind you of the living world. With eager minuteness, you take note of the table near the fireplace, the book with an ivory knife between its leaves, the unfolded letter, the hat, and the fallen glove. Soon the flame vanishes, and with it the whole scene is gone, though its image remains an instant in your mind's eye when darkness has swallowed the reality. Throughout the chamber there is the same obscurity as before, but not as the same gloom within your breast. As your head falls back upon the pillow, you think in a whisper, be it spoken, how pleasant in these night solitudes would be the rise and fall of softer breathing than your own, the slight pressure of a tender bosom, the quiet throb of a pure heart, imparting its peacefulness to your troubled one, as if the found sleeper were involving you in her dreams. Her influence is over you, though she has no existence but in that momentary image. You sink down in a flowery spot on the borders of sleep and wakefulness, while your thoughts rise before you in pictures, all disconnected, yet all assimilated by a pervading gladsomeness and beauty. The wheeling of gorgeous squadrons that glitter in the sun is succeeded by the merriment of children round the door of the schoolhouse. Beneath the glimmering shadow of old trees in the corner of an rustic lane, you stand in the sunny rain of the summer shadow, and wander among the sunny trees of an autumnal wood, and look back at the brightest of all rainbows, overarching the unbroken sheet of snow. On the American side of Niagara, your mind struggles pleasantly between the dancing radiance round the hearth of a young man and his recent bride, and the twittering flight of birds in spring about their new made nest. You feel the merry bounding of the ship before the breeze, and watch the tuneful feet of rosy girls as they twine their last and merriest dance in a splendid ballroom, and find yourself in the brilliant circle of a crowded theater as the curtain falls over a light and airy scene. With an involuntary start, you seize hold on consciousness and prove yourself but half awakened by running a doubtful parallel between human life and the hour which has now elapsed. And both you emerge from mystery, pass through a vicissitude that you can but imperfectly control, and are borne onward to another mystery. Now comes the pearl of the distant clock, with fainter and fainter strokes as you plunge further into the wilderness of sleep. It is the needle of temporary death. Your spirit has departed, and strays like a free citizen among the people of the shadowy world, beholding strange sights, yet without wonder or dismay, so calm, perhaps, will be the final change, so undisturbed, as if among familiar things, the entrance of the soul to its eternal home. And that is the end.